Hey, welcome to the My Voice and Power radio show and podcast. Join myself and regulars every week and hear what we have to say on a variety of topics. We also welcome you to have your say in the comment section or by joining us here in the studio, which you can do by dropping an email to myvoiceandpower@outlook.com. Also, don't forget to tune in to the My Voice and Power show live every Thursday at 9 p.m. on www.unityliveradio.co.uk or download the app from the App Store. Do you have a set time where you listen to like new music?
No.
Okay.
And the reason that then what frustrates me is that music is more accessible than it ever has been, but it's difficult to get it. And by that, what I mean is, if I want to try and find new music, I have to go to somewhere like Spotify. Because Spotify will say, "Oh, we'll suggest this person for you, this person." Because the way that the music industry has changed, new artists have to be on that platform to be spotted or seen. To be fair, the only way that I would have found new music back in the day would have been mixtapes or mix CDs.
Or going to the record shop.
Well, yeah, that's few and far between now. You've got HMV, but then the likes of HMV,
yeah,
just stock stuff that you know is there. They're not going to have new, and this is the problem. They're not going to have new artists because new artists release it digitally.
You're talking like there's even still a HMV.
Yeah, there is.
Where?
I'm old school.
I remember when HMV used to be on the corner where Metro Bank is, because that used to be the link-up spot back in the day. We'd be like, "Oh, I'll meet you outside HMV."
HMV it still exists, but it's more.
The only one I know of is in I want to say Birmingham or Coventry. Is there still one in town?
HMV is in Reading. It's back on Oxford Street in London.
I don't go town, so
you're not missing anything. Yeah, town is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
But you go in there and you go, well, I'd like to find something new. You can probably go, you'd rifle through for a while, but you used to be able to play.
Yeah, listen to it. Yeah.
I think HMV do that to a point now, but it'd be one station you just go and sit down and stand up and listen to a CD. The chance to discover now is all digital, it's all online. It's TikTok is like the big one, isn't it? Where if you go on YouTube and you search for a song, I came here because of TikTok is normally the first response you see. Oh, right. So people make music for different social media platforms to be seen.
Yeah.
They'll still make stuff because they love music. But it's increasingly hard for me to find new artists and new genres without Spotify, which breaks me because I like to discover these things organically rather than what's new on Spotify.
So how did you wait? I'm sorry if you've answered this already, but how did you find things organically before? Because I'm thinking when I was growing up, I knew the music that my mum or my grandparents played.
Yep.
And as time went on, there was music, TV, so MTV, Channel U. So that's how I would then hear about songs and then go and look for them in the shop.
I mean, music TV is no longer music TV, is it? Music TV is programs.
Yeah, there is that.
There's no. I mean, I was saying this the other day, and I said to the wife, "Do you remember that Busta Rhymes video? Busta Rhymes and Janet Jackson video?
Yeah.
The most expensive video at the time. You had to go to MTV to watch it. There was nowhere else you could really watch it.
Yeah.
Unless Top of the Pops managed to get it somehow. And that was the way of discovering new videos. But I used to listen to the radio a lot. I mean, when I started listening to radio, it was Kiss FM when it was slightly pirate.
When you used to record it on the cassette player and had to
exactly.
pause it for the breaks.
Exactly. And that's how I used to listen to. I'm sure it was Kiss, back then. I had a mini disc. had a mini disc, and I plugged that in, and then I record everything that I was listening to, and then you'd have to try and do a guessing game and go, who's that? I don't know. And you have to listen back to the DJ say, who said what? Who? Whereas now, The other thing now, you've got Spotify, great. You've got Shazam, which picks up what you're listening to. And I do it occasionally, and there are lots of things on social media that take the mick out of it. And you walk into Zara, for example, and there's a tune going, that's decent. Shazam.
Yeah.
Discover something new. Didn't know who that was, etc. Or going into other shops, you go, yeah, this is good. But then I think, how did they find that stuff? How do they know about that stuff to put it in their soundtracks? But
do you use Spotify?
I don't pay for it. I use the free version.
Okay, so this might be where you're missing out, because I'm starting to think, no disrespect, that you don't know how to use Spotify, because I'm thinking, why are you not getting all of this stuff on your playlists and stuff like that? So for me, on my Spotify, like, granted, there are still some songs you can't find on there, like music my boys and I listen to. Like, you have to know who the people are, go to YouTube, find them on there. They're always on YouTube before they're anywhere else. But in terms of Spotify, like, it knows what I like now from the years I've had it. It knows what I like. There are 6 daily mixes every day that they're renewed every day. And one's R&B, one's hip hop, one's garage, one's reggae, one's back, because of all the different genres that I listen to. Then they have a daily release playlist. So that's where all the new songs, it might not be called that, but
it's weekly, or new releases.
So they have. Oh, let me mess up the mic. They have a list. So in there's all new songs. And now they have a daily playlist as well, which changes like throughout the day. So in the morning it'll play one thing, in the afternoon, and in the evening it's something.
As much as I'd love to spend that much time on Spotify, I can't.
But I don't need to spend that much time on Spotify. It does it all for me.
Yeah, but I mean, as in listen daily, I don't have the bandwidth to do that. I do listen to new releases. So, but then you remember when I said at the start of our conversation, I have an eclectic mix of music. I listen to lots of different things.
So do I. So Spotify is very clever at playing me a couple of R&B, then a bit of bashment, hip hop, a bit of garage, a bit of drum and bass, and
I think it depends on my mood what I listen to. So it can create a playlist for me of disco. I'm like, yeah, cool, I listen to it. But then halfway through, I go, do you know what? I want to change to something slightly different. And I change it, and I don't really like that. Don't really like that. And then as go, okay, well, this one I like. Then it goes, these are the artists you may like. And I go down a rabbit hole because they may surface stuff that I think I like, but I also get past them and go deeper. And a good example of that is neo soul. So the genre neo soul. Started listening, and then some neo soul just does not get on with me. And Spotify kept on suggesting it. I was like, look, I know I love neo soul, but that's not for me. And I dig a bit deeper, go to different artists, and right, okay, there we go, that's more like it. But then I'm not on it often enough for it to learn the algorithm as to what I listen to so much. But then, as I say, it depends very much on my mood. I can suddenly go, right, I'm going to listen to 70s disco now, or I'm going to listen to country and western, and then Spotify must be going, what in the world is...
So one of my daily mixes plays me a playlist like that.
Yeah.
So I laughed the day I realised that Spotify realised that that's what I do.
Yeah.
It's like,
what really frustrates me, I've had this conversation with a few people, is what's classed as new? So I'll be sat there and they go, oh, new song. And then I'll go, wait, this sounds familiar.
You're waiting to start singing something else.
Yeah, this sounds familiar. Oh, they just sampled something from like 20 years ago and then they put a slightly different beat to it. Well, I mean, no. I want some new content in the sense of new lyrics.
But new can mean new artist, and they might be saying something different.
I prefer new artists. Like I discovered a new artist on there recently, and it was amazing because I discovered someone new. But he's passed away since, and I was like, I would never have known about this person it wasn't for Spotify, I'm not even going to try and say his name.
Okay.
I'll give you the details of who he is.
Mm.
But I sat there and I'm quite compulsive and impulsive. Okay, I like one song. I listen to another one, and now I've got 3 of his albums. So on the basis of 2 songs, I've bought 3 of his albums.
And have you listened to every song on all 3 albums?
Yeah, love it, absolutely love it. But then it's because it puts me in a. Most of his music is not got words. It's rhythmic. It's chilled. It's just nice. And so when I'm working, that is my admin music, shall I say?
Okay.
While I'm going along, and things like that excite me. I've never found him. Never. And I go, okay, well, who else is like him? And I click into that and go, nope.
Yeah, that's because some people just have that thing about them, isn't it? That makes the music what it is.
See, one artist, R&B artist, that if they released an album in the next hour without releasing any of the songs, I'm going to buy, which is very random. It's Faith Evans, which is completely left field, right? Why? Typically because I like the style of music and I like the tone of her voice.
Okay.
I don't know. I just would.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I would do that with anybody else. Tony Braxton has just released a new album. On the plane back from where I was away from business, I listened to one of her albums and I was like, this just sounds like Tony Braxton. It's just depressing. It's all about, we were saying before about certain messages that you get through songs. Yeah. Tony Braxton is one of those artists that doesn't necessarily sing about anything that is happy. But not necessarily. There are a couple.
But that's a bit of a harsh judgment, because what if that is her life?
Probably it could be.
Because
but then a lot of her music is written by Babyface. So is that Babyface's life? He's just using her as a vessel to push through. So
maybe. But also she's got the voice for it as well. So
yeah, and then once again,
there's power in sadness, which I think her voice.
I think everyone can relate to it because everyone becomes sad at some point.
But I think her voice also sells that there's power in sadness.
Yeah. I don't think if there's like the only UK alternative I could think of that would be something like Beverly Knight. That can do anything.
Yeah.
And will be able to translate and communicate anyway. I don't think there's any. Another thing I was thinking about music. So thinking about voices and tone, etc. And you think about people that we were robbed of or lost or and left this earth too early, was Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
I sat there and I was thinking to myself, there's a lady that performed at the Royal Albert Hall recently, and I cannot remember her name. But everyone loves her because she's got a powerful voice. She's edgy. And I sat and I thought to myself, you sound great, but if I then compare you to people I grew up with at the time, say Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, they would, wipe the floor with you in regards to vocal range, pitch, ability, different genres. I mean, Mariah didn't really, but Whitney did. I think to myself, music's just changed. It's just, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me being really stubborn.
What has changed about music?
I don't know. I think it just feels so samey now. It just feels everything is samey. And maybe just because of what I'm listening to, what I'm hearing. But I read or heard somewhere that there's only 3 or 4 big music companies in the world that help produce music now, and they have their own individual sounds or recognizable sounds within their music, so which is why everything started to sound.
Yeah, which I was going to say, which is probably part of the problem. Yeah. So then, should that not encourage you to open up to the other music that other people are putting out there, that you're saying you don't really want to hear? Like, so like a lot of today's music, like people are quick to say like, today's music, it has an impact on the kids, it's bad, it encourages them to do the wrong thing. But if you listen, even the people who feel like, yeah, I listened to that song, so now I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
If you actually take the time to listen to the words
Yeah.
that some of these people are actually saying, there is more to their music than them promoting, which I don't think they're doing. There's more to it than that, because if you listen to the full tracks, if you listen to the full words, you hear the heartbreak, the story, like Pot of Paper.
Yeah.
I don't know if you listen to him, I don't know if you know who he is, but he, for me, like, his story, his life story is in his words, it's in his music. And the clever thing about him is actually he knows the right hertz to have his music levels at, which is why I think out of a lot of my kids' music, he's an artist that I will actually look up, and I actually have him in my own playlist, because yeah, he talks deep, like, and one of his most recent releases is called White Ash. And he's talking about losing friends, and you know, again, it's another troubled situation, but then again, it boils back down to his life, what he grew up around, what you know, which then leads me back to something that you were saying earlier about, I bet I'm not going to be able to remember what it is now. But yeah, about taking time for yourself and self-care, and like, as a man who is out there teaching other men how to heal, how to grow,
from a music perspective,
from a life perspective in general.
I think it's difficult. I mean, I wouldn't be able to identify one particular person or even then 10 particular people. And once again, I mean, it's a social media thing where you will go and you'll find the content you want, and they'll surface the content you want to see. But the last, depends very much what you want to listen to as well. So the last few artists that I've bought from a self-healing, self-learning perspective was Raheem DeVaughn, which is very different to what I'm going to say. The actor, I can't remember his name, but his music pseudonym is Rally Ritchie. And then this other guy that I can't even start to pronounce. I'll spell it out later.
Yeah.
So Raheem DeVaughn is an interesting one for me. We'll come back to him. Rally Ritchie was about his experiences, and once again, the gravitas around kind of the hurt and what he's experienced through his life, his relationships, you know, loss, things like that, which are heavy things. But I love his album. His album's called You're a Man Now, Boy. And I listened to that a lot after my mum passed. A lot. It's good because it helped me self-soothe a little bit. There's lots of messages in there. Great. The other guy, with regards to the spelling and the name I can't pronounce, but I apologise for that. It's very chilled, and it's very about meditation. It's about just calm, soothe, relax. Raheem DeVaughn is very different in the sense of, you know, we were talking about messages and what we're listening to. From an R&B perspective, I class him as one of the very few last proper R&B artists around there. It's all about rhythm and blues. It's about love. It's about respect, and it's about loving relationships. Loving is very loose there. Relationships. And he had a song called Queen. And you sit there and go, okay, what does he mean by queen? And he's appreciating and respecting women and saying why they're queen, what they do, how they do it, what you should appreciate. And if you sit there and listen to that for a love of music, you go, right. And if you boil it down to the most basic, I must respect women that have done this or are doing this, or I should respect, I call my mum my queen, I call my wife queen, I call my daughter, whatever it may be, they are queens. You go, oh, okay, cool. And then he has other stuff which is a lot more passionate and a lot more proper R&B that you would think of the 90s to have it. But I wouldn't say that there's... And then from a social media perspective, I follow things like wealth and mental health things and Stephen Bartlett to understand what people have done through their lives to get to where they are. And that's the only way that I think you can sit there and go, okay, I need to sort myself out, or I'm doing the right thing, or aspirational, this is what I'd like to do. I don't think there are many out there that.
Sorry, that's interesting that you think that's the only way. But surely that now that you're learning those lessons, you now like impart that knowledge on someone else.
Yeah, and not many people are like that. You know, when we talk about the community thing, insulating, going, mate, I'm looking after myself.
Yeah,
that's what I would say. That this argument's like 50-50 out there in the world. You know, I'll always happily pass my knowledge on to people or my experiences more.
To hear the full radio show, which entails me reflecting on the podcast, sharing the answers to the social media question of the week, and playing music, go to www.myvoiceempower.com and scroll down to the radio section. To listen to the full show live, tune into www.unityliveradio.co.uk every Thursday at 9 p.m. UK time for the My Voice Empower show, where there is also a Your Voice Empower hour for guests who still want to be heard but not shown. They come and engage in conversation about either their business, project, event, or raise awareness about topics that are close to their hearts. Always remember to spread your wings, speak your truth, write it down, and let it go.